Hey guys, this is the Mind of Lilith, and thank you for joining me as I share my thoughts about Ariane Curry's recent post on Instagram pertaining to her mental health when she expresses that she has been feeling suicidal for the past several years. So, in her post, she states, "This is for the girl ready to end it all. I've been suicidal for about 3 years now, and it goes from weekly to daily, especially when that show airs, because I'm being silenced." How are you being silenced by a show that you said you never wanted to be on in the first place? And how are you being silenced when you just did an interview 2-3 months ago on a platform with 1 million subscribers and you said you broke the internet? How are you being silenced when that happened? Okay. So she also says, "The storyline being put out to make money is not my truth. Please pray for me." Whose truth is it then? Because if you didn't tell the truth when you were speaking to Tasha K, then whose truth were you speaking? You seem to be speaking Melody's truth, talking about her medical business and what she knew about you and what she didn't say correctly and how she was lying. You knew about that truth, right? So you knew more about Melody's truth, but you didn't expose your truth with ample opportunity. So why haven't you told your truth? Who would be hurt by your truth at this point? You and Martell, right? The only people that would be hurt by Ariane telling her truth would be Martell and Ariane. And I suspect the reason why she's not telling her truth is because her truth is going to implicate Martell in a whole lot more shit than we know. They were partners in crime together, so they know each other's dirt. Because when you have a relationship with a narcissistic person, they're always triangulating. And they use the outside party, the side piece, the third party, to attack the wife or the girlfriend. So Martell and Ariane know each other's dirt more than anybody else. Who is silencing this dirt? All she talks about is Melody and what Martell did that we already know about, right? But she didn't talk about the fact that Martell was spending Melody's money on her. That didn't happen, but she knew about it, right? Let's continue. "Some days I feel like I can't go on. I'm trying to move forward, but then I mention like, let your star take off on her show. Like, why do I have to be brought up to keep this shit going? Y'all, I can't take it. Your entertainment is my real life, and y'all ain't getting the half." We're not getting the half of what? What other half is missing? The only half I'm missing in my brain is your half when it comes to Martell. And Martell seems to be the type, based on his interactions on the show and the way he treated Melody after she exposed him for being the fraud that he is. I suspect at this point that Ariane Curry is being emotionally or psychologically abused by Martell. And she can't express that on social media. She can't tell the truth about what's happening because that's going to make Martell look bad. And when Martell looks bad, he tries to make other people look bad. So because these two people were accomplices in a crime, the crime of attacking an innocent woman, aka Melody, right? They were both partners in crime and trying to tear down an innocent woman. The weapons they use to tear down Melody are being held against each other now. That's how it works in narcissistic relationships. So Martell can tell Ariane, "What are you even complaining about? Because you knew what it was when I met you. Why are you even trying to put me out here, put me on blast when you knew that I was married when I first got with you, blah, blah, blah." And Ariane can say, "Well, you were married when you pursued me. You were the one who was older. You were the one who had this and that and the third. You manipulated me. Even though I was a willing participant and I was happy to disrespect the mother of your children and my sponsor on your behalf," right? My sponsor, because Melody was taking care of Ariane too with Martell's help. So even though I was happy to disrespect the woman who was financing my life for several years, I'm still the victim here because I was young and I didn't know what I was doing. But when I was in it, I was getting all the benefits and enjoying every last drop of those benefits and using those benefits to attack a woman who did nothing to me, who I am insanely jealous of, which is why I can't apologize to her because she has everything that I want. Everything that attracted me to Martell, his status, his money, his whatever. all that Melody took with her when she got divorced from him. So how could she be losing, even though she lost her marriage, her businesses, her family unit? She's still winning, according to me, because she has everything that I've ever wanted that Martell was bringing to me. But it wasn't Martell's, it was actually hers. So even though I'm suicidal, I'm not suicidal enough to apologize to the woman who I've wronged. And everybody knows that I've wronged because I'm so jealous of her that I can't bring myself to humble myself before someone who I believe is superior to me in every way, because I'm jealous of most women. Okay? But anyway, so back to BPD and NPD relationships. Narcissists monkey branch or triangulate from one relationship to a next because they have an attachment disorder. So they're very insecure about being alone, and they need to start one relationship before they end the other one. And what happens is when they start the new relationship, they need to find an excuse to devalue and discard the old partner before they hoover and come back around and do it again. They need to do that to justify their behavior because if you have an attachment disorder, you need to find a way to detach from the person that you value. So in order for you to detach from that person that you think you own, you have to destroy it to make it easier for you to walk away. That's what the whole devalue and discard phase is for. So when narcissists partner up with BPDs, borderline personality females, or even narcissistic females, the BPDs will actively help the narcissist tear down the main party because of their own insane jealousy. And this is a trauma bond for them. This is a way for them to do dirt together. It's almost like a blood oath, right? Or an initiation into this cult of personality where they are more attached to the idea of the relationship itself, right, than their individual identities outside of that relationship. So the relationship becomes bigger than themselves because they have so many secrets together, and it's now larger than life. That's a part of their way of bonding to each other. So Martell and Arion's attachment wasn't just about physical lust. It was about the fact that they had a shared common goal and purpose, which was to destroy, disrespect, and devalue Melody together, but for different reasons. Arion did it because she was jealous, and Martell did it because he needed an excuse or reason to leave his wife and feel okay about it, but he couldn't do it because Melody is a boss. So it was like he couldn't effectively destroy a woman who is a boss. So she's still beautiful, still has money, still desirable, still successful. Now it's like, damn, I gotta hold on to this because it's still valuable. But at the same time, I'm going to try to break it down to destroy it in order to be with my new supply who puts me on a pedestal, right? And that's what Arion has done. But we are now in the 7th or 8th year of Martell and Arion's relationship, and karma is starting to trickle in. Karma doesn't show up in the first 2-3 years. It shows up around 3.5 years, and then it escalates around year 7. And after year 7, the wheels of karma are really swift and brutal. You start to see things and understand things and experience things that you did not experience in the first 7 years when you were in a honeymoon phase. So at this particular point, Arion is going to have to deal with the fact that her man is going to disrespect her. He's going to look for a replacement for Melody. Melody's energy is so big. She's so boisterous. She's so ambitious and strong and so vibrant. He needs to fill the void with another source of supply of equal or greater value to Melody. Arion's energy is so depressed and low and negative. That's a negative source of supply. After a while, it becomes nasty and unappetizing to be around somebody who's clinically depressed and angry all the time, which is how Arion looks. So if you're miserable all the time, unless I'm doing what you want me to do, if your life revolves around me and you're miserable because I'm not doing exactly what you want me to do, I don't want to be around that all the time. That gets irritating and annoying. But because Martell also has an attachment disorder as a narcissist, they like the back and forth. They like the hot and cold, make up to break up, I hate you, then I love you. I don't see you for 6 months and then we can reconcile and I can love bomb you all over again and repeat the cycle. They love these types of relationships. NPDs and BPDs love this toxic cycle of drama, unproductivity, lust, and just like mental illness. They love that, right? At some point though, they're going to break each other down because it's a mental illness. And you can't be productive if you're psychologically imbalanced. NPDs and BPDs create drama in their relationships because it's a reflection of how they feel internally. So they're trying to make the outside reflect what's on the inside of them. Insecurity, pain, wounding, attachment problems, separation anxiety, OCD, and other issues that are symptomatic of personality disorders. So long and short of it is, I do believe that Ariane is depressed, but her depression has nothing to do with Melody. It has nothing to do with the show. It's more so about her relationship with Martell and how stagnant they are together. Because, hold on, side note, I've heard that Martell moved in with Ariane. As a mother, I would not want my children around a suicidal, bipolar, borderline woman. Absolutely not. Why would Ariane say this if Martell just complained about not seeing his children for 56 days? Wouldn't that make Melody's case for primary custody stronger? What I will say about BPDs are extremely jealous of children. They are jealous of the children of their boyfriends or their spouses. I've seen this personally. Because BPDs are pathologically jealous, they're jealous of women in particular. They're jealous of any woman. So if Ariane has been enjoying time with Martell by herself for the past 56 days, they are one little happy family without Melody's children, reminding him of his old life. She has her all to himself. Why would she mention that she's suicidal right after the court case is dismissed and he supposedly has his kids with him? What is she trying to do? Is she trying to manipulate him into coming to see her if he's with the... Why would she do that? That's jeopardizing his custody, but she doesn't care about that. She doesn't care about that. She's trying to do this to manipulate Martell into doing what she wants him to do. And to be honest, he deserves this because he tried to manipulate Melody into sucking his penis every single day. So manipulation is as manipulation does. Both of them are manipulative. I'm just curious, I kind of went on a side note, and I missed my original point. Why would she complain about mental illness and suicidal tendencies when there are 4 children in the house that don't belong to you? Or there are 4 children that Martell is with right now. Is she crying out for help saying, you should come see me instead of your kids? I'm not saying that's what's happened, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did because I've seen this happen before in real life. I've seen this and I've heard people tell me about this happening to them also. So what's going on right now? That's really bad and weird timing for her to talk about being suicidal right after he supposedly got his kids back after 2 months. Now their little happy family, their little fantasy of being together without the kids. Her fantasy, not his. Her little fantasy of being together without the kids is blowing up. So now it's time for me to go off the deep end and play suicide to get sympathy and not tell my story. What story you got to tell? You had an opportunity to tell your story for years now. The only story you wanted to tell was Melody's story. So what is your story? Is your story going to expose you for being just as bad as Martell? Because that's the only thing that's going to happen. Whatever you expose about Martell, Ariane, is a reflection of you also. Because you knew about this and you still stayed with him. And you still had a kid with him. So what else is there to tell except Martell's business and how he's been treating you? But at the same time, we're not going to be surprised and we're not going to be as sympathetic because he treated Melody the same way, if not worse, because the way he treated Melody caused her to let go of millions of dollars in revenue from her businesses. It caused her to let go of her marriage and it caused her to lose her family unit. So the way he's treating you is not going to be as bad as he treated Melody. So we'll have less sympathy for you because you were helping Martell to abuse his wife for years and you're not remorseful about it because you're jealous of her. So this cry for help, I don't know if it's because Martell just got the kids back. I'm not sure about that. And now she wants his attention again. So I'm going to play suicide to get his attention so he can come running to me and leave his kids behind. So we can play family, happy little family, happily ever after. As if he didn't have 4 other kids before he met me. I don't know what's going on. But the timing of this is odd. And it's weird. The show is going to air the 4th season, I think, in a couple days on Friday. Why is she putting this out now? She's not going to be on the show. This is Melody's show. Is Martell reminding people that this is his show because he wanted Ariane on the show and they said no? Like, what is going on here? Is Martell saying, I don't want to film because they're not going to let Ariane film? Then don't film then. As a matter of fact, cut off your only source of income for a woman who can't build shit for you. Go ahead, do that. Have fun. Cut off your only source of income for a woman who can't help you to build to that level again. Keep being smart, sir. So now that Melody doesn't want to film with him anymore, he doesn't want to do the show anymore, it was only for her? Sir, are you serious? Is that what's happening right now? But anyway, do I believe Ariane? It's a hit or miss. I might believe her, but the reasons, it's about the why. If she's depressed, I don't believe her why. If she's suicidal, I don't believe her why either. So the fact that this is happening now, and she's posting this a couple days before the show airs, she wants more attention, but she doesn't have the confidence to ask for it directly, because to ask to be on the show of the woman that you hated and you've tried to destroy is absolutely asinine, and it makes you look thirsty and jealous as hell. So you want to go on a platform that your enemy created and act like what? You're the star of the platform that she created? Then make your own platform. You and Martell do your own reality show together. Pitch a show to VH1. Pitch a show to Bravo. Pitch a show to BET. Let your voice be heard. Why do you need to go on this particular platform to share your story? Why do you feel silenced? You have YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Social media is ablaze. Yay. All these content creators, including myself, are creating content based on your show, your story. You're not telling anything that we haven't heard already, except the dirt that you and Martell are doing against Melody. And you can't share that, because if you did, Martell will share what you were complicit in doing against Melody, and that's going to make you look even worse. And that's going to make people rally around Melody even more, because they're going to truly understand the amount of viciousness and evilness she had to endure at the hands of you and Martell. And her come up is going to be even more successful, because they're going to be like, damn, even more shit? It was bad enough as it is. She had to deal with that too. So whatever you put out is going to make Melody look better, and you look worse, and Martell look worse. And Martell's not going to trust you anymore. So he's going to treat you like trash, just like he treats Melody, because you're exposing him. That's how he treats people who expose him, who aren't 10 toes down for him. Even though he said that's the way Melody is, that's actually the way he is. If somebody exposes him for who he is and tells the truth about who he is, he will cut them off too, or abuse them. That's what he'll do. Or try to expose their secrets in retaliation to them calling him out on his BS. Just like he did with Chris. Okay? Just like he did with Marceau. Just like he tried to do with Marceau on this trip to Atlanta and having him with 20 girlfriends and all this other stuff. I'm not going to be the only bad guy. That's Martell's thing. So if you tell on your boyfriend or your fiance or your husband or whoever he is to you now, you are forewarned that he will get in your ass too. He's going to treat you even worse than he treated Melody, because y'all were doing dirt together. So now the weapons that you used against Melody can be used against you just as effectively, or even worse actually, because Melody did nothing. You two were working together. What are you going to complain about? You can't say anything. You're kind of trapped. That's why you haven't put out the book, because the book was going to expose the extent of Martell's depravity and disrespect toward his wife and how you played along with that. That's why the book ain't coming out either. So now you're depressed because you can't heal what you don't reveal. There's so much stuff on your heart. There's so much disrespect and abuse you're going through. You can't express it to anybody because nobody will listen to you, number one. And number two, Martell probably told you or warned you to be quiet. That's the way he operates. So if you're not going to be quiet, then I'm going to tell about your business too, because you were also here doing it with me against Melody. Speaking of astrology, this is how Saturn works. Saturn takes time to reveal itself. So the karma you incur at the beginning of a relationship when you were cheating with each other is going to have to be dealt with 7 years, 14 years, or 21 years down the line. And you're at the 7-year mark. Also, Ariane has Saturn in Capricorn, And Martell has Mars in Libra. And the Mars-Libra square is the most difficult, painful, violent, and abusive square, in my opinion. One of the most, at the very least, difficult aspects in astrology. And it doesn't show up in the beginning, because Saturn deals with time. It shows up after the 7-year mark, just like it did with Melody and Martell. Things didn't get really, really bad until around the 7-year mark of their marriage. Then Martell, I think, started stepping out at that point. But anyway, I think I covered up all my points. Just to recap, I don't believe that Arion is, suicidal because of Melody or the show. She feels bad because Martell is treating her like crap, because she can't express how she feels to him. She can't express the fact that she wants to really be with him in a relationship. She doesn't like to have to compete with the 4 other children that he has. She's still jealous of Melody, so she won't apologize. She wants to be on the show, but doesn't want to ask to be on the show because it'll make her look thirsty and jealous of Melody. And a host of other things. So when you have all these issues, of course you're going to be depressed. If you've been lying to yourself for 7 years about a man who you know is not good for you, but you can't get out of the situation because you're emotionally attached to him because of a trauma bond and your own psychological disorder, yeah, you're going to be depressed because you're in a depressing situation. You can't be happy with somebody you don't trust, and you don't trust Martell because he doesn't really respect you like that. He doesn't respect you because he was doing dirt with you, and you know all his dirty secrets. So you kind of have that, you can hold that against him. And because you can hold that against him, he doesn't trust you fully because you can weaponize his dirt against him too, which puts him at a disadvantage when it comes to your conversations and your arguments in the relationship. So even though you don't have leverage, you do have power over him when it comes to affecting his money, his business, his reputation. So because of that, because of the complexity of your relationship, now there's so much negativity and karma and trauma attached to it. You're kind of stuck together until you resolve those issues, right? This is part 1. I'm sure I have more to unpack. I think I'm forgetting some very salient points, but I'll expound on some other points later. One more thing. Somebody emailed me and said that I have a Facebook page. I don't have a Facebook page. I've never been on Facebook. I despise Facebook. Can someone send me a link to this Facebook page so I can see what's going on and what's happening here? I'm like, should I be worried about that? Is somebody using my content for other things besides promoting the work that I'm trying to do for our community? Like, what is going on? It's not uncommon. It happens. I was just a bit amused at the fact that somebody created a whole Facebook platform for my channel, and I didn't want to be famous or well known at all. I kind of wanted to control this ecosystem that I'm trying to create so that I'm in complete control of my energy and how my voice is being used and on which platforms it's being used on, which is why I'm kind of anonymous. So I'm just a little bit curious about what's happening with this Facebook page, if you guys have seen it. All right, guys, thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.